This is Coach Gary, the founder of 30-Minute Millionaire Coaching Company. And this morning we're going to be talking about a very serious topic, and that is, how do you go from an amateur in sales to a professional? And how important is tracking and follow-up? You always heard the gold is in the follow-up. This morning I'm going to start off by sharing a little story with you. When I was a young man, okay, and I just got out of college, I started one of my first jobs in San Francisco with a clothing company. And I was an accountant, believe it, my degree's in accounting. Isn't that crazy? But that's how I started. But anyway, here's a story. As an accounting manager, I was hired as accounting manager because of my degree. And I noticed that as the sales reports came through from the salesmen, that they had some pretty, my gosh, glaring expenses on those reports, like booze parties and taking their clothes out and having them laundered and having the company pay for that. And my gosh, when I saw, one of these parties was like $2,000 or $3,000, I ran to the controller of the company. I said, hey, look, this sales guy is really taking advantage of this company. And look, he put right down there, booze party. What's this? In a clothing company, put booze party down. And the controller said, that's crazy. So we march into the president's office, and I didn't realize the president was the president because of his performance in sales, And so we marched into the president's office. We both sat down, and I said, look at this guy spending a lot of money here in Atlanta with booze parties and laundry and dinner tickets. And I said, my gosh, that's a pretty big expense report. And the president just sat back in his chair and he said, Gary, he said, do you realize that we're growing at about 20–30%? And I go, yes. And he said, do you know that that's our #1 salesman? And I go, yes. He said, don't you think he deserves a little bit of recognition and a little bit of liberty here if he's going to bring in that type of sales volume? And all of a sudden the light went on. My gosh, sales is a great profession. Here this guy gets to travel, and he gets freedom of an expense report. He writes off everything. Plus he makes these big commission checks, and he's making more money than the president of the company. And I thought, my gosh, what am I doing in accounting? So I got to share with you this morning before we get into sales. A lot of people have this perception that sales are the worst people on earth. Let me tell you, I've been in sales most of my life, and it afforded me a living that second to none, that most people never get. So sales is a wonderful thing when you do it properly. So we're going to talk this morning about these sales techniques. How do you go from being an amateur salesperson to a professional salesperson and having that lifestyle that sales really affords you? So if you're in real estate or mortgages or a financial planner guy or an insurance guy or anything like that, especially network marketing, my gosh, you want to sharpen your sales skills. Now, the truth of it is that most people get into sales and they don't have a system. They don't have a system to make their calls. They don't have a system to follow up on those calls. And I'm going to lay out the principles that have brought me millions of dollars of success. And here they are. It's just so simple. Every time I made a call to somebody, I recorded that conversation. Every time I met somebody, I recorded that time that I met them. And here's what I said. I always put the date on it, where I met them, and something about them that impressed me. No matter what it was. What a great speaker. My gosh, she was dressed so professionally. She had a strong desire to succeed. I put something down there that really connected me to them, where I can relate to them on the next call. And then I always took that business card, and whether I used a Franklin planner, back then in the old days, I used a Franklin planner, and I wrote that name and the time I met them in that planner. But I did something, and I learned this, believe it or not, back in my old Amway days. I actually scheduled a follow-up time with them. And at the same time, I put the reason for that call, the purpose. Why was I calling them? What did I want to know about them? Now, I'm going to give you a little script here that's so simple, it's maybe millions of dollars. And here's all it is. When I started talking with people to find out about them, talking in terms of their interests, their desires, their goals, their passions, where they wanted to go in life, because I was a great listener. I knew if I can listen, most of the time I would get them, because they would come to a point where they would share their struggles with me, their pain points and their problems, and I know I can help them. Okay, so I let them talk enough. They would be comfortable enough with me. That was one of the first things I did. But then when I got to the end of that, I never sold them. I called it permission marketing. I just said, look, if a really good opportunity really came along that can solve those problems and help you, would you be open to looking at it? That was the $1,000,000 question I asked people. If a really good opportunity came along, could really help you, would you take the time to look at it? And folks, most of the time when I went through the process of developing that relationship with them and asking that question, guess what? Most of them said yes. Very few people said no, they wouldn't look at it. Not everybody made a decision for my opportunity, but I got a very high percentage of people to look at it. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying to you. Your goal in life is to get people to look and evaluate your opportunity to see if it matches with their need. And the more people you can get to try your services, try your products, look at your opportunity, the higher success rate you're going to have. Keep that in mind. It's not about signing them up. That's about that thinking there is not building a long-term relationship or building a platform to grow, a good sales organization. All right, if that's your plan, or a good customer base, that's not. If signing them up doesn't do, that's just a revolving door business. Seriously, you got to treat your customers and your clients and your downline like they're gold, that they're the best thing that ever happened to you. So signing them up doesn't get the job done. It's the commencement service, okay? Servicing those clients, servicing those people. That's where it really starts. So just keep that in mind. We're going to go on the lesson today, but I wanted to give you a little bit about, let's be a professional. Let's be a professional at what we're doing. If you're in an MLM or direct sales marketing, let's be a professional salesperson, and let's do it right and learn these techniques I'm going to show you today. This is one of the best techniques I could possibly teach in this LinkedIn series right here. All right, so let's go on our screen share. Let's find it, and we'll start right now. Okay, here we go. LinkedIn tracking will save you hours. That's the name of that's the name of the session today. You've always heard it said that the gold is in the follow-up. No question. Most salespeople fail because they don't have good follow-up skills. Follow-up skills are I think follow-up skills are more important than presentation skills. In fact, I think the greatest skill that you can have is in the follow-up, because the follow-up leads to the invitation, and the invitation leads to the decision. So follow-up is one of the best skills you can learn. I've always said, where do you find the time? I love this little guy here, because you just can't outrun the clock. So you can spend hours and hours at the front end of this, building your funnel, putting people in it, meeting people, following up with them, building the relationship. But then if you don't follow up at the end, all that time in the front end goes for naught. So you wonder why your sponsoring rate's not there. It's because your back end sucks. I'm sorry. Excuse the French. It sucks. Your back end is where the gold is. I don't know why I said that. I just want to get your attention. Okay. Did you know that LinkedIn has a built-in tracking system? Yeah. To keep track of all your connections. See, in the old days, I used notepads, Franklin planners, my address book to record the conversation, and then also say, well, okay, book that follow-up appointment. By the way, you book the appointment, and when you talk to somebody, the last thing you do is say, look, I'm going to follow up with you 3 days a week or whenever, and let's get back together again, and I want to see what your thoughts and insights are. That's all I said to people. They said, okay. And I booked it, and then I confirmed it. Today, you can do everything on calendar, confirm it on calendar. The next week, we're going to talk about how to manage your calendars, okay? All right. So I was talking to so many people, was running together, and what got worse is I started forgetting their names and where I met them and so forth. So I was so good at the front end, but I was terrible at the back end. I had to learn it just like you guys. I sucked at it. All right. The more I read about LinkedIn's built-in tracking system, the more I kept thinking, why was I not using it? Maybe I should look into this. In real estate days, in my mortgage days, I used ACT, and I paid a lot of money for those software programs back there, and I was very good at using them. And it kept, I kept control over my candidates, over my prospects. Okay, in LinkedIn, everything is in one place. All the notes, a conversation, everything is there. So you're in LinkedIn. Keep the conversations in LinkedIn. See, a lot of people want to take this outside LinkedIn. No, you keep it inside LinkedIn. A lot of the coaches teach you, get them on an email. That's wrong. Keep them on LinkedIn because you have the record until you have a verbal conversation. Once you have the conversation, that's different. But you keep track of all the messaging while it's in LinkedIn, okay? Everything is right there, easy to follow. You can know last time you talked to them, what you talked to them about, and why you're calling them. That's very important, the purpose of your next call. You know, it just made sense to learn it. So now I'm going to share it with you guys under relationship. It's as simple as 4 categories. Under relationship, you click it over right over here, see where the star is on the left-hand side. Let's get this up a little clearer for you. You know, you got 4 categories where you can actually take notes. Here's your reminder, your follow-up system with a little alarm clock is an icon. That's cute. And then the handshake, how you met them. And then you can tag them and put them in the categories where you can actually track them. Are they hot prospects, cold prospects, warm prospects? What are they? Okay. Are they friends, acquaintances? What are they? Referral partners? Whatever you're building, it can be put in a tag and you can search by that capability. LinkedIn is so cool, my friends. Okay, let's go up the ladder here a little bit. Just record a quick note of your conversation. That's all you do. Usually I put in a key code for the type of conversation. Now I teach people what I call a copy, paste, and send method. There's four parts to this conversation. Number 1, how you connect with people. And I teach people to do it personally. You know, when you connect with people, hi Sharon, hi Bill, and I always want to put something in there to compliment that person. That's my secret to the first connection. Hey Bill, I was reading your profile, very impressed, but I'd like to get together with you. Very simple. Compliment and personalize. How hard can that be? And then thank you for connecting. So I put a little TY. That's my code. Thank you for connecting. I didn't write out connecting. Sometimes I did, but most of the time just TY. Okay, thank you for connecting. Hey, George, I want to thank you for connecting. You know, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do for fun. Of course, I want to hear about your business. That line is on every message, thank you message that I have. And people open up to me and they tell me about themselves, what they do for fun, what they're passionate about. It starts a conversation. That message was designed to do that. Story, I share a little personal story about me. Hey, here's what I do for fun. I've been married to my wife for 30 years. We have a parrot that says good morning for peanuts. We love gardening, wine, and traveling, and you know, so I start out on the personal side. Okay, so I don't want to hear somebody come at me from the other side about, you know, their business, what they're doing. I just say stop. I don't. You know what? I want to learn about you. Let's see if there's a connection here. Okay, before we go any further. Okay. Then the last one is the invitation to chat by phone, Skype, or Hangouts. Listen, I really like to know more about what you're talking about. Let's get on the phone and let's chat. You know, maybe we could be a referral source for each other. That's all it is. People love it. There's no selling here. It's just connecting with people. 4 code system. That's all you do. Here's a record, a recorded message. It looks like this. Now this person, the message goes 2 ways. They could want to connect with me or I want to connect with, either way, the message is recorded here when you're inside LinkedIn. Hey, Gary, thanks for sharing so much about yourself. I am available on Friday. Now notice here that LinkedIn date stamps this for you. And then keeps track of how much time has gone by and elapses. That's like a big red flag that says, hey, Gary, get back there. You know, 19 hours is too long. You better get this guy on the calendar and start chatting with him. Okay. Notice LinkedIn timestamps it for you. LinkedIn also tells you how long it is. I love this stuff. Boy, the engineers in Lincoln are incredible people, whoever designed this. One of the best customer management resource systems I've ever seen. I only wish they would put the time zone message in here based on the location. Let me tell you why. Because when you're talking to people, you need to know what time zone they're in. If they're an hour apart, 2 hours apart, 3 hours apart, 10 hours apart, 17 hours apart, wherever they are. But you can go to what they call timeanddate.com. And you can type in where you are, who you're talking to, and it converts your time for you. And just put that difference in one of your notes here, so you know where they are. So you don't have to always go back and look back. Hey, if it's 8:30 here in the morning on the East Coast, right now it's 11:30. You know, well, if it's 8:30 here, and then what time is it in Europe? Well, if it's 8:30 here, then it's about 7:30 p.m. in Europe. How do I know that? Because it's about 10 hours. Well, what time would it be in Australia? Well, that's 16, 17 hours. What about New Zealand? That's 17, 18 hours. See, once you start getting that time down, you won't have to look it up because you'll know automatically, you know, well, they're in Spain. Well, I can tell you right now, it's 8 hours. See, so you'll know it, 8 to 9 hours. Okay, depending on what part. All right, what about Sweden? Same thing, you'll learn it. Okay, next we will review the reminder category. Here's the best thing in this whole LinkedIn system. Okay, so if your follow-up sucks, we're going to change that. You're going to be better at it. Oh my gosh, you're going to start sponsoring people. You're going to see the gold. You're going to be running the bank account. I'm telling you, you're going to watch your bank account grow on this one. LinkedIn really laid this out well. Okay. Now, you could set a reminder for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or you can go to reoccurring. And I'm going to show you that. I added this to the teaching. So you guys would have this. And also, this is going to go in my new book. Okay. Gives you a drop-down menu. So let's start out with the note. Okay. A reminder here. Okay. So I want to follow up in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. That's usually where I'm doing it if I've got a hot prospect. And down in the notes section here, I didn't put anything in here, but I usually write something to the effect that the reason for the follow-up, the purpose of the follow-up. What do I need to talk with him? Oh, he's going to review my video. Oh, he's going to try the products or the service. Oh, he's going to be looking at something. I never flood people with 50,000 things to do. Hey, take a look at this, John. I know you're busy. When can I get back to you? I want to know your thoughts and insights. I always ask them, I always tell them, I'm looking forward to knowing your thoughts and insights. Why is that important? Because your thoughts and insights is what I'm going to evaluate your level of interest. That's why I said, John, I want to know your thoughts and insights. Pamela, I want to know your thoughts and insights. I never ask for opinions. That's for like turning them into an attorney. You know, they're going to be protective. I want their thoughts and insights. What did you like best about this? Okay. You see how this could probably help you in your situation? Those are the questions I ask. Short notice, the purpose of the call. So I know exactly what I'm calling them for. Got that down? Okay. Once you get recording this and make it happen, you become a professional. There are people that I have put into the program that taught this follow-up system to that couldn't sponsor people for 6 months, started doing this program, started sponsoring 1, 2, 3 people. Listen to this. Every month, they started sponsoring 1 to 2, 3 people every week after about 3 months in the program. This is how powerful this is, if you'll just learn to do it. Reoccurring allows every week, okay? Here's what's cool about it. You can set up for next week, next month, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and you can even customize a date. How cool is that? Here's a drop down, shows you how to do it. You could never be out without the follow-up if you use the follow-up system. Now, I use this for my linking because 90% of my prospecting is on LinkedIn today. Outside of that, unless I'm going to speaking engagements or I'm connecting with people or in my personal sphere of influence, I just don't have time. I'm at home and I'm just doing all my stuff on LinkedIn, and I do some on Facebook, okay? But anyway, I do a similar system like this if it's off of the LinkedIn, because the LinkedIn gives me the practice to do that. And because I'm doing it, it becomes natural and normal to me. I just go ahead and put it into my calendar, in my address book. And that's how I keep track of it outside of here, okay? I do have an Excel spreadsheet that I designed. I don't know why, I just don't use it. I just don't have time to log it all in, okay? It's got to be right here for me to do it. All right, now notice the reminder was set for 5/19, okay? And the reminder was they reviewed the story, and they're going to review it in 5 days. Here it is right here. Boom, reminder pops up for you. Okay, how cool is that? So LinkedIn is reminding you of your follow-ups. Okay, so you can't forget them. Here's another important thing. How you met is an important record. Why? Because if you can't remember where you met them, why you met them, what attracted you to them, remember what I said about give the time that you met them, where you met them, and something really that impressed you. Write that down. So I met Christian Ron Lincoln. He's a colleague, being a transformational coach. Okay. Now, what I didn't put down here was the compliment or what impressed me with Christopher. I should have put that down. I know what it is. I've been talking to him, but point being is I needed to do that. Okay. So what impressed me with him? So again, how we met is very, very important. Okay. It's the basis. You can always go back to that and find out how you met him. Was he referred to you from somebody else? Did you meet him because of your search programs? Did you meet him because he was a colleague, alumni? He was in one of your groups. How did you meet him on LinkedIn? Okay, that's very, very, very important. Managing tags allows you to categorize your connections into groups. Now, I had the same lesson to my coaching clients, because, and I'm going over it again here because it's so important. And I wanted them to get a double dose of this. Managing tags allows you to categorize your connections into groups. Now, this is what I use, but you can copy it, do what you want, but I use candidate, classmates, colleagues, favorites. I have favorite people, friends, group members, hot candidates, MLM prospects, partners, strong connection, whatever. I mean, that's what I use. You can actually add the tag that you want and manage your tags. It's very, very cool. Okay, so by tagging, you can easily sort through your groups for prospecting. So why do I do that? Because I'm going to have a different follow-up for a hot candidate. I want to get back to them in 72 hours. I don't want to let a week or 2 weeks get by. I want to strike while the iron's hot, okay? I want to strike when the buying temperature's up. Not when it's cooled off and we got to, kind of recollect everything again, or I got to resurrect it. Hey, John, remember I talked to you 2 months ago? Is that, who's this? Okay, get my point? Hey, John, I just talked to you 3 days ago. I'm very excited about your thoughts and insights. Tell me, did you get a chance to look at the video? Did you get a chance to visit the website? Well, I've been very busy, Gary. He said, John, this is so important to you and to me. And then now I have sort of cataloged the conversation, and I can always say, hey, John, listen, you talked about not having a retirement. John, this could be the one. This could be the retirement. I don't have it either. Let's look at this. See, now I got John all fired up again. Okay, I'll look at it today. Hey, John, I don't want another 3 days go by. I'm going to call you tonight. You see how you do it? It's like, okay, Gary, I'm going to call it tonight. Why do the follow-up so important? Because life gets in the way. Do you understand? The cat dies, grandma gets sick. I'm telling you, unexpected guests show up. It's just life. Your kid gets kicked out of school or the principal calls. It's just life. Okay, the car breaks down. I'm telling you, it's life. Okay? If you let life control you and you drop the ball on your follow-up, I promise you, life is going to whip you, beat you, and keep you down. I'm just telling you the truth. I taught this to my salespeople. I was a top trader in the mortgage industry for years and real estate. And I taught my people, I said, if you don't stay on top of your follow-ups and your tracking and make that a priority, okay? They will, Gary, what happens if grandma ends up in the hospital? I said, grandma ends up in the hospital. Well, Gary, that's kind of cold. No, it's not. Because most of the time, grandma ends up in the hospital. Obviously, you want to go to the hospital, visit grandma. You want to be there, pray with her. Family always comes first. Always put God, family, job, and then your residual income fourth. I got the right priorities in life. But you know what? Most people make that an excuse. I want to be in a position where I have the money that I could take time off to go to the hospital and spend all the time I want with grandma. Are you with me? So if life comes up, I always manage the time I dedicated to my follow-up because I scheduled it. I get it done regardless. It may be a little later at night. It may I have to get up early in the next morning, but I get it done. Most people that are amateurs let it slide. They don't reschedule it. That's the problem. That's why a system keeps you on track and keeps you focused. Okay, I'm preaching at you. Okay, I hope you know I love you. I'm just trying to give you guys what it takes to get on top and to play at the top. Okay, that's what it takes. It takes that type of dedication and commitment to get to the top. You got to throw away the excuses. You can't make both excuses and money, and life will throw you a curve. I'm telling you, life has thrown me so many curves, I shouldn't even be here. Okay, you got to fight through the curves of life. You just have to. All right. This is a short list of people. And my candidate list, you see, it pops it up for you. That's all it is. All right. So this information, I always end with this. I'm going to get back on talking. We'll close it up. If this information has helped you in any way, please pay it forward. Help those who may need a better understanding of what LinkedIn has to offer. Here's how you can follow Gary's coaching and all the things that I teach right here. There's nothing wrong with sharing this with people that you love and you care about and you want to help your downline, your clients, your friends. There's nothing wrong with sharing this information and getting it out there. Hey, I thought this article might be great for you. By the way, if you can sign him up on his blog site, he sends it to you weekly along with a video. How cool is that? Now, I don't send 3 a day. I don't sell anything. If you guys have been following it for a while, you'll find out this is all free to you. And it's top coaching. You got a minute, it stops. And if you follow the practices I'm giving to you, oh my God, your life is going to change. Okay? All right, so this is Coach Gary. I just want to leave you with this message. Your follow-up skills, in my opinion, are the most important of any of the skills. Communication skills, organization skills, presentation skills. Seriously, learning to invite skills. Your follow-up skills are the most important skills in any sales that you can have. And the more follow-up you do, I promise you, the bigger your organization, the more clients are going to follow you, the more customers you're going to create, the bigger your bank account is going to grow. So if you want your bank account to grow, watch this several times. You got a PDF download. It comes to you if you're on my the number 30minute-millionaire.com. You can go there every week. The video's posted and the article's posted. And if you sign up and maybe down the road a little bit, all you have to do is say, hey, give me an email, okay, and ask me any questions I'm going to answer. So I got an email from a friend, and he said this. He said, Gary, I was sending out messages in groups, and I think he got banned or didn't get anybody responded. Understand, groups are governed by people that that are in charge of them. They're facilitators, and if they see you spamming in groups, you're not going to make it. That's not what groups are for. We're going to be teaching on groups. I'm going to get deep with you in groups, but I'm going to tell you this, just off the bat, groups are for you to go there and engage with people already in the group and comment on their discussions. Maybe even after you start commenting on the discussions, you become what they call a contributor. The group watches you. You see, you can't just bust into a group brand new and think that you can just, do a broad message to everybody in the group. That doesn't work. You got to get connected to the group, contribute to the group. If you're in the group and groups pay off big, then you become a top contributor to the group. Well, what does a top contributor do? What I'm teaching you to do. A top contributor, you share advice, hey, listen, this is a great article by Coach Gary. You might want to read it. It probably can help you with link and follow-up. Okay? There's a great way to contribute to your groups. That's all you do. So you contribute first by commenting and engaging in the discussions. Now, as people start to know you, 30, 60 days go by, then you start, starting your own discussions, and you do that with questions. Now, I'm going to be teaching on groups, so you can follow my teachings. But don't think that you can just blast into a group and start selling your wares, and banging your pots and pans, and that group's going to just open up arms to you and say, oh my God, that opportunity is so wonderful. I'm going to join you. That doesn't happen that way. I'm sorry. I wish it did, but it doesn't happen that way. Just remember, you got to engage in the group. Your goal is to be a top contributor to that group and to bring value to that group. And then people are going to recognize you as a top contributor. Now, the wonderful thing about groups, in some of these groups, there's 20, 30,000 people. And when you're in the group and you establish yourself as a safe person who's there to contribute to the group, you have access to all those members and you can private message them. How cool is that? I know a lot of people come to me and they go, Gary, I can't message anybody. I got kicked off of LinkedIn because you didn't study LinkedIn. You didn't know how to do it in LinkedIn. I'm telling you, you can join 2 or 3 groups. You got access to over 100,000 people if you join the right groups. And you click on members, and all of a sudden you can start messaging those people within those. Can you believe how many? You can join over 20 MLM groups, for crying out loud. They got groups for everything. Here's the best part. You can start your own group. I don't advise that in the beginning. Get in a group, become a top contributor, understand how groups work. But groups is a very powerful way to build any organization, sales organization that you want. And it gives you a door to very powerful people. And you can find your leaders. I always tell you, if you find your leaders, your business is going to grow. In other words, you're just training a lot of people that aren't going anyplace. You're just spinning it. Find your leaders, lock arms with them, teach them what I'm teaching you, and you could take any business to any level that you possibly want if you do it with the methods I'm teaching you. So this is Coach Gary signing off. I hope you have a wonderful, great week. Hey, thank you for following me. Thank you for spending the time with me. I know sometimes I'm a little hard-nosed on the coaching, but I just do it because I love you. I want you to succeed. I want you to have a better way to a better life. Okay? God bless. Bye-bye.